Hello everyone and welcome to week 3. This week we dive into our first socio-cultural reading. Reading Work explores workplace literacies across different settings. We're reading about 2 of those settings. Remember also that we have a twofold purpose for reading. The first is to deepen our understanding about adult literacy practices, and the second is to learn about doing sociocultural research on literacy. So let's keep these dual purposes in mind, and you may want to take notes for the online class discussion as well as step 1A of the 1, 2, 3 project that's due this week. So let's get started. As you read the chapters, pay attention to the concrete literacy practices that the authors write about. What are the specific functions or processes of these literacy practices? Because this is a workplace setting, it probably involves training or compliance or inspections or timesheets, something along those lines. What kinds of texts are used? Are they complex texts? What are their forms? Can everyone access the content? As well, think about who created these texts and what groups of employees must read the text and comply with the process. What are the relationships between the employees and the people who created the texts? What are the tensions around this literacy practice? Do the employees simply comply and do as they're told? Probably not, right? Maybe they resist in some way. They forget to do it, or it's always late. Maybe the employees reappropriate the text in some way and complete the process in a way not exactly intended by the authors. They do something on their own, right? These are all of the thick, rich details that comprise a literacy practice and the kinds of details the embedded researchers seek to observe. Let's think about the researchers and their writing. This is ethnographic research, meaning that the researchers are embedded in the environment, sometimes for many months or even years. This research method is especially well suited to studying literacy because it affords the researcher this opportunity to experience the context and to observe all of these details about the text and the employees and the workplace setting firsthand. Many ethnographic studies are written in first-person language because the researchers have this personal experience. They write field notes about their observations, and they include thick, rich descriptions of what they see and smell and hear and taste and feel. Remember that our socio-cultural lens is about the meaning-making process in the social and cultural context in which the process is embedded. So pay attention to the many details about the workplace literacies in these chapters. Because the researcher is embedded in the context, she will usually position herself somewhere on this continuum you see in front of you as either a more detached observer or perhaps more of a full participant. But either way, the researcher does become part of the context. An example I can share: when I was doing my research, I was in an adult education classroom, and sometimes I sat in the back and I made my notes and I was more of a detached observer. But there were times when I sat with groups of students when they were doing their group work, and I would be in the group with them and talking to them. a couple times I actually taught or co-taught with the teacher. So I was sort of maybe more in the middle of this continuum, kind of going between more detached and more of a full participant. So pay attention in the two different chapters to the ways that the researchers talk about their positioning. At the same time, start to think as well about your 1-2-3 project and how you will position yourself with this literacy process. What is your relationship to the text and the readers and the literacy practice? This brings us to the end of the mini lecture. Again, keeping in mind our dual purpose for reading. The chapters are there to help you learn more about adult literacy practices in the workplace and also to give you some ideas and use as a springboard to start your own 1-2-3 project.